I think what we do here is we do a product planning process, given we've productized the model, and that's like an annual thing that we do. Every year we sit down and then we figure out what are the intakes that we have, what are we supposed to be doing as a business. And then for each of the requests, we are going to assign company level goals, KRs, and objectives. And then we kind of break that down. It's a very like methodical process that we have. And then we do like an ROI analysis on what is the value and how does this request move the needle for the business. And then from there, we map out the level of effort and any dependencies on budget asks, etc. And then there's a centralized prioritization model we have, which is a very data-driven process where we ingest all of this and then and we map that to the capacity. Based on that, we have a list of things that we are going to be delivering and committing to for this quarter. And there's a constant reinforcement with the leadership to make sure that's socialized and aligned, because there's a lot of cross-functional dependencies we have. It's not a siloed team that's going to be delivering this. For example, there may be needs from sales ops, or there may be needs from product teams. So we want to make sure we bring in all the stakeholders together. This is an annual process, but things are changing so dynamically that every quarter we revisit this committed list to see if things need to change, and we kind of do a mini process every quarter. So it's pretty organized in how we kind of do the planning, but there's always a constant shift with so many changes and the AI boom that came in. So there's a need for us to revisit this methodology that we have on a very frequent basis to make sure we are working on the right thing.
I love that. I love that. Yeah. That reminds me of like one of my favorite quotes, which is if you don't have a roadmap for your team, then someone's going to make one for you.
Yes,
And
exactly.
so it's good. Every quarter, you should have it listed out. And then what do you do? Like, I mean, it sounds like, Amrita, when these sort of ad hoc things hit your team, do you kind of just sit down with them and say like, well, this is the roadmap. Sorry, doesn't fit
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
there. Or like, do you try to squeeze it in? I don't, what do you do?
Yeah, I at least typically don't want to reject this right off. There's a trade-off
Mm.
conversation. We evaluate with it's a very metric oriented approach on what is the value versus what we are doing now. And if that's of a higher value, let's say it's moving an important KPI like our ARR or a churn, that's when we're going to have the trade-off conversation, because everybody has limited resources. So we really need to be smart in how we put our resources to work. So that's where we really look at it from a value-driven lens. And then that's when we make a choice of XYZ needs to slow down, or if this needs to be accommodated. And then we end up doing that